So my name's Emma, and I work for European Movement Ireland, which is an organisation based in Dublin. And since 1954, we've been working to develop the connection between Ireland and the European Union, which is now celebrating 50 years of EU membership. I was born in 1998 in August, so 3 days after the Omagh bombing, which was the single biggest atrocity during the Troubles. So I've always been very aware of that juxtaposition between peace and violence. In the last year, I've become very conscious of it. Currently, we still don't have a devolved assembly in Stormont. In fact, out of the 25 years that Stormont has existed, the assembly has been suspended for 10 of them. And with the fallout from Brexit as well, there's so much to think about. Northern Ireland as a whole has come on leaps and bounds. Since the end of the Troubles, I went to university in Belfast, which is a completely different city to the city that my parents knew when they were in their early 20s. And whenever I was 21, I worked in France for a bit as part of the Erasmus Plus programme. And I think that gave me a really good opportunity to reflect on how different growing up in Northern Ireland was, a society which is defined by religion and division, to somewhere like France, where that isn't an issue. I didn't meet anyone of another religious denomination until I was probably 17. Which is ridiculous looking back on it, but it is one of these defining features of society here. My mum and dad would have preferred going shopping, for example, in Dundalk, in County Louth, just down the road in the Republic of Ireland, because it felt safer than going to Newry. And I have never once felt an experience like that. All they knew was bombs and atrocities and people that they went to school with being killed, frankly. Prior to the Good Friday Agreement, almost 3,000 people here in Northern Ireland died. Since then, we've known relative peace. So I think the peace and the prosperity of Northern Ireland today, despite those hotspots of violence, which unfortunately we have seen since 1998, is a real testament to the success of the Good Friday Agreement and the peacemakers. So Belfast as a city is completely different to, say, 30 years ago when my parents knew it. Belfast is this modern cosmopolitan city, really diverse, and the research that's going on in Belfast, not just Queen's but Ulster and other educational institutions, is phenomenal. The EU is a major actor in the peace process and the Good Friday Agreement, and I think it's a role that often gets overlooked. If you step outside, you will see buildings that have been co-funded by the EU. The train that runs here from Newry to Dublin, the Enterprise, was co-funded by the European Union. The road that joins Newry to A, Belfast and B, Dublin, was funded by the European Union. The European Union's legacy in Newry is so strong. I think for my grandparents, there is no way they could have imagined the country Northern Ireland has become. For example, I think if you were growing up in 30 years of violence, it would be very hard to imagine a way out. Working in the Republic of Ireland and living in Northern Ireland, to be honest, is quite a common occurrence for a lot of people around here. The only one difference I really notice is I A, get paid in euros, and B, my phone network changes over when I transition into the south. My dad came in and told me, "Emma, you voted to leave." And I said, "Surely not. Check the news. Here we are." Brexit, quite frankly, has jeopardised the Good Friday Agreement. That peace, that hard-won peace that took 30 years to develop, Brexit has completely undermined it. Without the European Union, I'm not sure that the Good Friday Agreement would resemble what it looks like today.
What are your hopes for the next 25 years for Northern Ireland?
I want to see the continued preservation of the Good Friday Agreement. I think it really has come under threat possibly in the last couple of years. But my hope is that, the generation that come after me continue to know less and less about the trauma that my parents and my grandparents would have grown up with.